This is Dr. Bafa, and today we're going to watch what is the heaviest pre-competition training session ever captured on camera. That is Lasha Talahadze of Georgia doing 210, 255 in the training hall at the 2019 Worlds in Thailand. So he starts out with a little stretching, getting a little work done on his wrist, stretching out the shoulders. All this very important if you're going to be moving big weight. And then we'll see him start taking the bar pretty soon. We're also going to see Asanidse in a minute, testing out the platform, making sure it is stable. Look at him rocking side by side. He checks the back, and the back looks good. Some of us, myself included, are total divas when it comes to platforms. Lasha is about to do weights that are beyond our comprehension on a platform that actually looks a little wonky toward the front, but he finds a good spot in the back, and that's where he'll do some of his heavy lifting. Taking the bar, getting into a nice bottom position, nice bar drop right there. We'll see that Lasha does this with the clean and jerk as well, but it's something that one of my coaches used to always emphasize. Everyone starts with the barbell, getting through a warm-up. It's always good practice to really move through the positions with the bar, take the bar overhead, take the bar in various pulling positions, start positions. It can be tempting to sort of rush through this stuff, but if someone like Lasha, who is about to do superhuman weights, can have patience to use the bar, the rest of us probably should do so as well. Starts with 70 kilos. He'll do some muscle snatches first, which is pretty much what he does the majority of the time that I've seen him train. These are no-touch muscle snatches. There's lots of variations on muscle snatches, but he does these straight, no-touch muscle snatch without going into a bottom. Keeps his elbows over the bar very long into the lift. One thing to keep in mind, this is less than 30% of his snatch. It's less than 30, or it's 30% of what he does today here, but it's less than 30% of what he ends up doing in the competition. There's 100 kilos for a casual muscle snatch. This is a weight that I think most of us, or many of us, can understand. A lot of us might have lifted 100 kilos in some form or another. And once we start getting past 100, fewer and fewer people have any real sense of what these weights mean, aside from an understanding of, wow, this is heavy, this is a lot of weight. Another nice muscle snatch from the side. Again, elbows way over the bar, long into the lift, really emphasizing that long, straight pull. If you struggle with banging the bar out or finishing with the body, a muscle snatch like that, no touch, can be a great way to work on that, provided you're doing it with a coach and with feedback. Drops back down to 70. Again, this is under 30%, and it's right into snatches for Lasha. Full snatches, catching it high, catching it maybe almost where a power snatch would be, but he goes into the bottom. Lasha, generally, we do not see him do power snatch or power clean, at least in these pre-competition training hall sessions. 70, from 70 he goes to 100. 100 just as casual. Again, we're still not even at 50% for the day's training or for what he did in competition. A couple easy lifts at 100. Takes 100 again. You can see he's kind of finishing the pull nicely, also feeling out that bottom a little bit, getting more and more comfortable. Here's a little side-by-side for a replay. Look at how nice and flat-footed he is. So long into the pull. He's almost at full extension, and it looks like he's still on the majority of the full foot. And you'll see, not in this video, but in videos where he does pulls, he often emphasizes that aspect in the pulls. From 100 to 120. Still very casual, very easy for him. We're now at a weight where fewer people have maybe experience with this. Some of us have snatched it, some of it maybe clean and jerked it, or back squatted it, or loaded it at the very least. And it's getting heavy for us. For Lasha, it's still easy weight. Same thing with this 140. At some point, it's probably not bad to just load something like 140 to see just how heavy that weight actually is. and Lasha does it for a very casual double right there. 140 again for Lasha. He's taking 20 kilo jumps, about 10% or so with each increment. And here you can see a nice front view, a nice side view. Again, knees back out of the way, still on the flat foot, so long. And at the last minute, as he's finishing with the shoulders behind the bar, comes up on the balls of the feet, catches it, probably just above parallel, but rides it into that bottom, emphasizing the full snatch. 160 kilos. This is a lot of weight, no matter who you are, and probably just about no matter what lift you're doing. And for Lasha, very easy. Saves the legs, does the snatch, and doesn't really bother standing up or finishing, but does so on the second rep. 160, casual weight for him. You see him maybe feeling the knee a little bit. He then goes to 180, and you'll see he's still doing doubles. This is interesting because we're getting into what I would consider heavier percentages, 80% and plus and up. Casual first rep, resets, and a very nice second rep. 190 kilos. Again, saves the legs, catches it nicely though, emphasizing that he's in control, and then does a second rep. That's a double with 190 kilos. Look at how similar these two lifts look side by side. Also how fast he's moving. This is 180, 190 kilos, just under 400 and well over 400 pounds. And he's making it move in a way that most of us can't even understand. Extremely quickly, very snappy under the bar. He moves the bar quickly. He also moves his body very quickly. From 190 goes to 200. This is a huge weight, an enormous weight to be snatching. It's a big weight to move in any fashion, and he's going to do it for a single here. And you'll see he did two singles, only one of them is caught on tape here, and there's the easy 200 kilos. Watch again, pushing through the whole foot, bar stays over the base of support, over what I would say is the midfoot, pushes the knees back. Bar comes into the hips, and then big finish and propulsion with the legs. Pulling up, still pulling up while moving under the weight. Catches it like at parallel essentially, and then moves under it just a little bit, sinking a little bit lower. Next weight is going to be 210 kilos. Absolutely extraordinary weight. This is 95% of what he did in competition. And this is 9 days out from when he lifts. So I would say this is, certainly for snatch, this is about what we often see with athletes in terms of when they last go heavy. Maybe a little longer for his last heavy day in snatch than some other athletes, but he's a super, needs a little more time to recover. In any event, let's watch this 210. That is simply a ridiculous weight done with comparative ease. Although apparently Asanise, not very happy. We're not happy with something. Looks just like the 200. Flat-footed, knees back, gets the bar into the lap. Big finish and explosion with the legs. Look at the legs to essentially full extension. And he's moving under the weight. The weight has just about hit maximum height and only then starts moving down. And that's so key when getting under a lift, especially the snatch. You want to be moving below the weight while that bar is still moving up. Tabaratse with a nice 163 kilo snatch. Lasha getting a little work done on one of the thighs. He's going to do another rep with 210 kilos. Making it look casual. Smiles at that one, maybe seems a little happier. Look at how similar these two reps are. Also, look at the gaze. He's focused on something. You can see his eyes in both of these. And he maintains that focus the entire time. Even, here's the finish, and look at where the gaze is. It's still looking at that same spot. He's not throwing the head back, dropping it or anything, and then moves under the weight. And his eyes in the same spot. That's so important to focus on something as an athlete. It can help you avoid distractions, and it can keep the bar close. It can keep you physically in a better place than letting your head do whatever you want or throwing it back and consequently having the body follow and getting out of whack. Getting a little more work done now on the wrists. Taking a little bit of time in between snatch and clean and jerk, but goes back to the empty barbell. Especially after snatch, there's often a temptation to just jump right into weight because you've done snatches, you're sort of warmed up, but it's a different movement. So if Lasha can go back to the bar, so can you. 70 kilos, obviously very easy for him. If this is less than 30% in the snatch for him, it's certainly much less than that in the clean and jerk. But he takes it again. Certainly easing into the heavier weights. Catches a lot of the cleans high up until he gets to about 150. Even at 150, he's still catching it kind of high and riding into a bottom. But we'll see that as we get to it. Only about 180 does he really start to do what we'd call a full clean as opposed to just catching high and riding it down. 70 right to 120. Starts crossing himself. Watch where he pulls and catches it. But he always rides it down into that bottom, at least all the times I've seen him. In training halls and competition, pre-competition. 120 again. Nice casual jerk. Look at all that distance that bar has to go. But look at how narrow he keeps his grip. In the clean, there are benefits to moving the grip in or out. You want it at the point where you can have maximal pulling power and can get the arms and elbows around fast. In the jerk, moving the grip out obviously means the bar travels less, but there are different stresses on the shoulder. So there's no free lunch, essentially, with that grip. There's always going to be pros and cons based on where you're keeping it. You see he caught it high a little bit there and then rode it down. And then very easy jerk with 150 kilos. Next up, 180 kilos. Even that, actually, he caught kind of high. But the transition to the bottom was maybe a little bit faster than the 150. And at this point, he's really moving with the weight. So I took a few at 70, then 120, but then 150, 180, 200 right here. He's going to take 200 again, but he's not wasting any time with more reps than he needs. This is about going as heavy as needed on the last super heavy day, really heavy day, before competition. 200 again. And then next is going to be 220. 9 days out for heavy clean and jerks. And he's going to go up to over 90% of what he does in competition. To me, that actually seems quite close. There are certainly some athletes who will save that heavy clean and jerk for 2 weeks out of competition. And Lasha's doing it 9 days out. Clearly, he's used to this kind of training, though, and it's producing results for him. 220. Enormous weight. We're at just under 500 pounds. 240. We're well past 500 pounds at this point. Relative ease. Here's a 220 and 240 side by side. You'll see he actually has a pretty pronounced arm bend, getting the bar into the lap before finishing the extension and turning over. He makes it work because he's throwing with the body. He's not pulling with the arms. Meaning the bar is getting its acceleration as a result of the legs and back, and not as a result of the arms. From 240, we get a little coaching from Asanidze, himself Olympic champion in 2004. Won gold over three-time gold medalist at the Olympics, Piros Dimas, to 255. Absolutely enormous weight. This is 96.5% of what Lasha did in competition, which was 264. Another crazy weight. It is worth loading this kind of weight sometime just to see what it means. Most of us will never be around this kind of weight. Some of us might squat it at some point, but at this competition we loaded 260 something in the warm-up area for one of the intros, and it gave us a great appreciation for just how massive a weight this is. So here's 255. Just extraordinary. Huge lift, huge weight. In the clean here, you can really see the benefit of obviously good technique, speed, explosiveness, but also you need to be strong. Lasha is phenomenally strong. Being able to resist the pull of the weight off the floor so you can maintain position. Being able to resist that weight across the chest. Being able to stand there under tension with the weight across the shoulders. Nice straight dip down. Hips under the shoulders, under the bar, which is how I like to see the jerk, although some people want a little shift back. Being able to do all of this is made easier if you are stronger. There are very few reasons where I can think you would not want to be as strong as possible. All other things being equal, if you are stronger, you are going to lift more weight. All other things aren't always equal, but technique, speed, if you keep those constant and can get stronger, you are going to lift more weight. Lasha is a phenomenally strong human being, and that's how he's able to put those kind of weights overhead. 210, 255, again, that is the heaviest pre-competition training session we have ever seen on camera. That's a huge training session without that sort of qualifier. And you can see Lasha, pretty much a celebrity, rightly so. That's all for this video. We hope you enjoyed it. It's always a pleasure watching Lasha lift. If you want to see more videos like this, head over to Patreon and become a subscriber. Thanks to everyone who already is a subscriber, and we'll see you next time.